Hello, everybody, and welcome to Around the Realm. My name is Zelda, your host, with Erin Fusco, who plays ZigZag. Thanks for coming on, Erin.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh,
What's everyone up to?
I'm
What's
so
everyone up
excited.
to in the whole world? What's up?
Yeah, what's everybody up
Yeah.
to? What are you up to
Hey,
right now?
this is a little bit like a Dora the Explorer episode. Like, how are you doing?
This actually,
Great.
we're
Yeah.
actually interviewing you, so I'll be
Oh,
looking
right.
right now. Yes, get ready. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're gonna interview you.
Right. I forgot why I was here. I thought we were just hanging out.
No. Oh, we weren't
Okay.
hanging out. So, I'm
Jesus.
so excited to dig in, to talk about ZigZag and Realms and Roleplay. So, for our new people who have not seen season one, could you give us a bit of a background, a little bit intro about yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. I am Erin Fusco, and I played Win on season one, Sovereign of Death. And I play Zigzag, as you all know, I assume if you're watching this, in season two, Night City Stories.
Amazing. And so, how did you meet Carmen and just get involved with Realms and Roleplay?
Because Carmen is our evil overlord. So evil, hard to say.
Mortally
Overlord for
gray,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, morally gray. Absolutely. Um, so he is the man to know as the overseer of this entire project. I met him while doing Realms and Roleplay season one, actually, which is like a wild story. Um, it all comes down to this one PAX, which I feel like Carmen talks about too as like the beginning of Realms and Roleplay.
Yep.
PAX East 2020, right before the entire world was absolutely closed down. Right on the cusp of that. I attended with my friend Mylan, who I knew in our regular human life. um, and some of her friends, and we all stayed together. And I had been doing some stuff with my family, so I was like splitting the time between like going to PAX and seeing my family. And so in this PAX trip, Mylan and our friends met Carmen and like started hanging out, and we're like, hey, this is talking about this idea that he had. And Mylan, who is an excellent wing woman for literally anything, like told Carmen, oh, you're doing a tabletop RPG thing. You need to talk to the best D&D player, Erin. Absolutely the best D&D player you'll ever meet, Erin Fusco, my friend. Mylan had never played D&D with me. I just want to be clear. Mylan was just talking me up because she knew I played and I talked about it a lot. And is just a great wing woman. So she was like, you got to meet Erin. And so Carmen was like, oh, Erin sounds great. And we met in planning season one. He reached out and was like, hey, I met Mylan. Mylan said, you're cool. Like, let's do this, which I'm so glad that that happened because now Carmen is one of my very close friends. So just always
Aw.
the message is hype up your own friends because you don't know what's gonna lead to.
That's so true, and it always hits me every time. It's like, oh yeah, I just met Carmen, and he's like, "Want to do this?" I'm like, "Sure." I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
it's so amazing to me how like spontaneous this was for like such a long like." It's one thing if it's spontaneous, like, "Hey, you just want to play a game," but like, no, hey, do you want to commit to this and like create a whole project? Like, wow, that always gets to me.
Yeah.
Speaking of spontaneity too, it was like for those of you that don't know, in season one, it was Carmen's first time DMing, and I think it was a few players' first time playing D&D. So it was also Carmen's first time playing Cyberpunk in season two. So was this your first time playing Cyberpunk?
Yes, absolutely. So I have played a little bit of the video game, but the system we used, I don't even think was fully released
No,
when we started.
it was a jump starter kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I had never played Cyberpunk before. So it did take some getting used to all of the rules, but I love reading the rules. I love reading the rules and learning new things. So if I in the course of the episodes ever seem like actually, it's just because I like the rules. I also like breaking the rules. I do like knowing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Like follow the rules, but bend them to your advantage.
Yeah. And I think honestly, I think we did because it's a different system than D&D. There's a
Mhm.
lot of different rules and different mechanics, and I think making that jump can be a little difficult.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I think sometimes we were just like, the way that the book says that to do this doesn't make sense to us, so we're just going to do it this other way, which I think is a totally legitimate way to play the game.
Oh yeah.
But
Do you have
it does take some getting used to.
I could not imagine. I have a hard enough time getting used to D&D. So, do you have a preference? Cyberpunk or D&D?
I think D&D, just because I'm so comfortable with it. Like, I
Mm.
have played so many games. But it's not necessarily my favorite system. I think each one has its own merit, and I love learning new ones. And I think that's so great about the tabletop role playing space is that there are so many systems and so many ways to do things, and people are inventing things on their own every single day. And so I like learning new systems. So I think D&D feels comfortable. It was the first one that I played. Like, it's
Yeah.
where my heart is a little bit, but that's not to say it's the best. I think I'm just a little nostalgic of it.
Yeah, it's just a little nostalgic. You're used to
Yeah.
it, so it's like a lot more comfortable per se.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you that also don't know, in season 1 most of the cast members had not met each other until like the game started. So besides our returning season 1 cast members, did you meet or know any of the other new players beforehand?
So I knew Mylan, obviously.
Mhm.
Um, and I knew Carmen and Ash from season 1 because
Mhm.
Ash was behind the scenes in the production of season 1. So I knew them, although not like I didn't know Ash particularly well, but like, we had conversations before. And Larissa, actually, I had met on that trip to PAX East, because she was in the same friend
Oh,
group
that's
as
right.
Mylan.
Yeah.
So we had met there, and then I was like so excited we got to play a game together.
Did you meet Ryan at all?
No, new face.
Oh,
But I'm so glad I did. He is great, and he's doing so many like amazing things now. Because like I was like, you are a strange person I've never met before. Great. And now I feel like every time I see him doing something new, I'm always like, yeah, absolutely, go get it. That's my friend. You know what I mean?
hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
um So just like adjusting from, was it hard to go from this like I feel like everything about season 2 was different, and I mean that in a good way because, in season 1 it was D&D. It was like fantasy, medieval, everybody was friends already. Everybody already had an established relationship. And then we go to season 2 and it's like this darker like cyberpunk aesthetic which is more so like real world, and our group didn't really start as friends. They all started separate. I mean, like, there were a few people that knew each other, but they weren't all a collective group that was already close knit. So, how was exploring like the differences between that?
Yeah. I mean, I think season 1 was like lightning in a bottle. It was just magical that like I don't know how it worked so well, because when we had done our first episode, none of us like really didn't know each other, but all of us were so willing to like yes and I think because we had established a background where we were like, we've known each other for forever, and so we all just would like pile on top of whatever anyone else said, like, oh, this was something we did in the past, and everyone would be like, yes, it is correct. That I think this one was a little more challenging to make us stick together because we
Yeah.
didn't make that background, because part of the story is how they come together, because we have like Sid and Gizmo who have a history. We
Hmm.
have Ruby and ZigZag who have a history. And then Raven didn't really, I mean, we learn more about her backstory and
Yeah.
like sort of does intertwine with others, but like no one knew her directly.
Hmm.
And so I think you see that in the first couple of episodes, where I think even Carmen is like, it doesn't make sense to smush them together. So we do a lot of like, what is this group doing? What is this group doing?
Hmm.
Until it makes sense for us all to like have built that bond.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's just kind of like what makes it cool in a sense because last episode we had a really Raven centric episode and like a nice wholesome moment between her and ZigZag where they kind of have like this nice sisterly bond, and it's nice to see like a separation to a come together, as opposed with season one, and it was just like they were already together, they just faced different trials.
Yeah.
So, just speaking of ZigZag, how did you kind of come up with the character design, like the name and her personality? How did you? What was the process like?
I so I wanted to do something kind of different from Win, I think. It turns out that at the end of the day they're all sort of still played by me, so so sometimes they become similar in that I make choices because I think they're fun, and like that's just whatever. But I think what we had ended up doing was I kind of like making characters where there are like when people put like restrictions on it. So the whole time I was basically like looking at all of like the class type, the character types. I was like, it doesn't matter what I am. I could think of a reason to be any one of these. So I let everyone else kind of pick first. I was like, I think I'm like thinking about these characters, but I basically let everyone pick first. And then when I was left with the rock star sort of character, that's when I started piecing her together. And I think that there's a lot of really good character building tools in Cyberpunk where you would like roll to see like who from your past you might still know, or like to build out the world while you're building this character.
Yeah.
And so I don't really know when I was like she was in the mafia, other than like every Night City is run by gangs, and so it was like what would drive someone to be a rock star and cling to it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that's just where that came from. And then her name was literally like inspired by David Bowie.
Oh, really?
Because of I thought it would be cool if she had like face makeup and like David
Yes.
Bowie's got like the ZigZag, that very famous thing. And so I literally just called her ZigZag. And then we find out her real name later, but she was ZigZag from the start for me. And I was like, yeah, it's Night City, it's cyberpunk. She's only known by this name. She's reinvented herself, and it all came from like that face makeup that I was like, that would be cool if she wore.
I knew it.
It's
cool. I got
cool.
Bowie vibes from the character. Okay, so
Yeah.
the character artist did a great job. Yeah, I was like, I wonder if that's like related to Bowie. And it was like, I knew it. Called it.
Yeah.
So ZigZag obviously has a already pre-planned relationship with Ruby. Was that like pre-planned between you and Larissa, or was that something that just kind of came naturally?
Yeah, we talked about it. I think I'm like going back in my memory banks to remember how this all started anyway. But I think we did sort of like a session 0. I think we kind of learned our lesson from season 1, where we just jumped right in and we were like hit record and we were like, whatever happens. And it being a new system and all, I think we had more of a session 0 where we talked about our characters. And I think this just came up in like a brainstorm where Larissa said something where she was like, I think she would be this kind of a fixer and this kind of a person. And I was like, that sounds like a manager. And it was just like, I don't know whose idea it was first, but both of us were like, that would be so fun. And we came up with it. So it was planned from a session 0, but I don't think any of us came and was like, I want Larissa to be this character. I think it came from like a natural brainstorm of like, where do these characters fit together?
Yeah. Oh my god, I love it. I love the relationship just like from the start. That's why I had to know.
She's never been that mean to me in real life, so I'm sure that my face is like, she's so mean to me as ZigZag.
I know, you just meet Larissa at PAX and then you get like Ruby Larissa and they're like, oh.
Yeah. Larissa's, before we hit record, Larissa's like, oh my god, I love you, you're so nice. And then we hit and she's like, I'm gonna be so mean. I was like,
It's the actor in her, because if anybody,
perfect.
Like, anybody that doesn't know Larissa, like she's literally the sweetest human being. And my first experience of Larissa, like I hadn't met her beforehand, was Ruby. And I was like, oh, accent, mean.
Talk about someone not playing, outside of who they are as
outside of who they are. And then like I met her at another event and I was like, oh my god, you're so nice. Wow, you're a really good actor. So I asked Carmen this and he said to ask you. So Caterpillar Soup, how did you come up with it?
I don't think you ever do a bit that you think is funny and then you're halfway through committing to it and you realize maybe it wasn't as funny to everyone else?
Oh my
Um,
god.
so caterpillar soup, we always we would like have conversations before we started recording and just like to get to know each other as people. We're all very friendly people and like so we would just like have these fun conversations. And Mylan, I believe, was had ordered this like mail-in kit to do like with her child to do like
Oh.
an experiment to grow a butterfly, right? So they would like send you a caterpillar and you got to watch it turn into like a cocoon and then turn into a butterfly. And she was talking about this, and in the process of that, like the way that caterpillars turn into butterflies, it's not like they, from what I understand, listen, don't you Wikipedia, you check your own sources. I'm not a caterpillar expert, but like we were like, they don't just like grow wings and then go, they like turn into soup in their cocoon. Somebody said the words, it's not like they're just a full caterpillar, there's like caterpillar soup in there, or something like that, or like it had like gotten too hot, or someone was like, in the cocoon, it is caterpillar soup. And I was like, that's a great band name. And everyone was like, don't, it's gross, don't call it that. And I was like, it is caterpillar soup. Her band, which is just her pretty much, ZigZag's band is caterpillar soup. I wrote it in my notes document and I was like, caterpillar soup. And I was like, that's hilarious. And then I think halfway through the season, I was like, I don't know that this is funny, but I find it funny.
I don't know what I was expecting for this explanation, but this is it. This
Yeah,
satisfies 100%
they're just,
it.
it's just soup in there. I don't know what to tell you. It's just
Now
soup
I'm
in
never
there.
gonna look at a cocoon the same. Like, I don't know what happened in there, but I wasn't thinking there'd be soup. Like, do they melt? What?
It wasn't, just so it's clear, it wasn't me that said those words, but when I heard them, I said, that's great. I love the name caterpillar soup.
All right.
And then you get a butterfly at the end, I guess.
After this, I'm gonna have to like go on a YouTube, like a deep dive, and see
Yeah.
like what happens.
And you're going to
in a
find out
cocoon.
it's wrong. There's some lepidopterists out there who's like, that is not how that works.
That is
Absolutely
not.
not.
Well,
You learned something incorrectly. That's probably true.
but it made something beautiful because it made caterpillar soup, and it's so ZigZag too. I don't even know how
Yes.
else to describe that, but say like that is such a ZigZag thing to have like a band of one and name it caterpillar soup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know how much of this ended up in the show either, but I do think that I would write down song names and I would mention them if they became relevant. And a lot of them were just like making fun of Ruby or making fun.
Yes,
like
yes.
yeah,
The first one was like Ruby sucks or something
yes.
like that.
I don't think all of them made it in, but I think I have a document where I had just been in the same way someone would say like caterpillar soup, like they would say things and I'd be like, it would be funny to write a song called this. And I don't think they all made it in, but Ruby Sucks is one
Yep,
of them.
Ruby sucks.
Yeah.
Number one stream. Yep, love that one. So I guess I feel like ZigZag and Win are such a contrast. Do you relate to Win or ZigZag more?
They are and they aren't. I don't know. At a certain point, again, I always feel like they're all of my beautiful babies and they're all part of me. So like, I don't know. I definitely feel like Win is more who I am normally. Who's because like Win is more type A than I probably am, but is definitely like likes to have a plan, likes to keep track of her friends, and like try and keep them all safe, is like really kind to everyone and like wants to solve problems. I think Win is a lot more like how I approach things. And then with ZigZag, she struggles a lot with like leadership and like what she wants. And like I think everyone can sort of relate to that of like,
oh yeah,
they don't know who they want to be. Like they have they had a pre-planned destiny, or they had an idea of who they were going to be in the future. And I think that is something everyone struggles with, of like, oh God, what am I going to, like, what choices am I going to make and who do I want to be? But in the moment, like snap decisions, I think ZigZag is a lot different. She makes a lot more irrational decisions sometimes than I would.
and I feel like that's what's fun about like making making a tabletop character is getting to incorporate like what you're like, and as well as like exploring something that you totally wouldn't do. So like what would what would your advice be to somebody that is trying to make their own tabletop character?
Yeah, I mean, I think just have fun with it. Like, tabletop games are such an opportunity to try something new in a way that, in the same way like video games sort of are, but usually there's not as much freedom, right? This is an imagination game. It's not just like, do I do the Paragon thing? Do I do the Renegade thing? Right? It's not that black and white. It's very much like you get to decide who this character is, you get to mold them. And so think about what would be fun for you to play and like the things you want to do with this character and explore. My very first tabletop character was a D&D character, and we all made our characters together, and two of my friends were charisma based classes, and they were like, we have charisma, you can use it as a dump stat because we could just do the talking. And I said, sounds good. And I did. She had a negative charisma score, which is not how I like to play games. I like to talk, but I didn't know that at the time that would be something. And so it became a fun character choice where my little, dragonborn would like try to say things, would mess it up completely. I would roll poorly because she'd have a negative score. And it was like a fun character trait. But for me, I was like, next time I make a character, I'm at least a 0 on that one. I'm at least doing a 0 on that one, or putting some more stats in it, because like that's what I like to play. And then once you play a bunch of characters, it's sometimes fun to be like, this one's going to be terrible at the things I like and I love it. But I think just have fun with it. Think about what you want to do. And also, like, my philosophy is at the end of the day, it's a game. And like, if you're not having fun with a character choice that you've made, make a different choice. Like, and this, we're not, we're not writing the next Oscar winning script here. You can make a different character choice. You can just do something different.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Yeah.
play and have fun with it.
Yeah.
All right. I have a one more question before we get into our episode recap. So, all right, get ready.
I hate that sound. It's fine.
I keep forgetting about that. Okay.
Zelda does this to me all the time.
No, I do it all the time. Like, with just yeah.
Okay.
My poor bones are like gonna pay for it, but it's okay.
Yeah, your hands are gonna fall off.
Literally, they're just gonna be like.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know how caterpillars or bones work.
It's gonna be bone soup.
Skeleton soup. Skeleton soup.
Oh my god, ZigZag's Halloween special, bone soup. Would you rather live in the land of Yashan or Night City?
Ooh.
And why?
I'd like to pretend this is difficult. But Yashan is, both of them are very scary worlds to live in, for sure. And while I love that Night City has indoor plumbing, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I think your mortality rate is way higher in Night City. I think you have a stronger chance of surviving in Yashan, even if you have to pee outside.
I don't know, because like it's such a catch-22, because yeah, Night City is more so of like the real life. I love the indoor plumbing, love the heat, and
cell phones, absolutely.
Yeah, cell phones, Wi-Fi, like access to all that. And yes, like the land of Yashan seems nice. You got to pick the perfect spot though, because there's like dragons and then skeleton armies, and like all what went on in Sovereign of Death. Those like, if I could find like a good corner to hide in, like.
But you could also have magic.
That's true. Also have magic to protect yourself.
You got magic. Whereas Night City is just a little bit of like a ultra capitalist hellscape that like you are just a dollar sign to all the corporations that run the world. And like everyone's life kind of, I guess maybe we could just visit Gizmo's sister and see how she's doing outside of the city. Maybe it's fine out there. But like
maybe it's just fine. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe this is like the Hunger Games world, where Hunger Games only happened in the US, and if we just like moved outside of that,
just moved to Europe,
we just went to Canada and we were like, actually it's fine here. Maybe that's true.
Actually fine. I don't know, because like any world where Carmen is the morally gray DM, I don't know if I'd feel safe either way.
No, you're never feeling safe, but like, what is your odds of surviving?
Yeah, what's the survival rate? Let us know in the comments. What do you think is the survival rate between Land of Yashan or Night City? Give
Yeah.
us a
And
stat.
what would you pick? Wait, I know this is not your interview, but what would you pick?
No. I kind of want to say Land of Yashan because, like, if I had a fireball, that'd be really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I could just have a barbecue with my hand and be just like, and then just like flip it over. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I would pick Yashan because Night City sounds terrifying to me.
Also, if you make friends with a cleric, even if you die, you could be brought back to life. It's fine.
That's true. And can I like magic indoor plumbing?
I guess you could like wizard invent indoor plumbing. I guess when there's no reason to know that there isn't. We never stopped to have a toilet break in Yashan. So maybe there is indoor plumbing.
Or maybe you just never need to go. Maybe bathrooms are like not a concept at all. Maybe you're good.
Yes, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. Do we eat in Yashan? We eat a lot in Night City.
Yeah.
I don't remember
like
if we
literally
ate
the
snacks.
first episode in Sovereign of Death, you all went to the bar.
We drink, yeah, I guess. So there's definitely is, but we never peed, so we don't know. We just absorb it into our skin. Your body just takes all the nutrients and there's nothing left. In Yashan, you don't have to use the bathroom. Don't quote me on that and don't tell Carmen.
Don't tell Carmen. Carmen's just watching this like
Carmen, go back in time and close your eyes. I mean ears. Don't listen.
Close your eyes, close your ears, just walk away.
Yeah. Go and just take the scrubber 5 minutes ago and just don't. So what an interesting question, Zelda. I think Land of Yashan for no reason. And I'm not talking about bathrooms at all. And that's where Carmen can come back in here.
Yeah, you can come back in here now. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's do our episode recap.
Yeah.
So, like I said, last time we left off with a really Raven-centric episode, we got to know a lot more about Raven, and just like this nice sisterly-like relationship that ZigZag and Raven have. And we left off with a big party at the houseboat/boathouse. I don't know. It's on water. Yeah. Ruby and Sid partied a little too hard last night, so everybody's kind of like waking up. I think ZigZag, Raven, and Gizmo were the responsible ones that did not party hard, but Ruby's kind of coming to and calls Juno to see how things are with Thrice Down. Spoiler alert, they're not good. And I think that something happened with Calypso and Juno. So, that's not fun for Ruby, but it was funny for me to watch. Anyways. Sid and Gizmo decide to see if ZigZag can help with their head because they don't really want to go. Well, they might want to go to Thrice Down, but Ruby kind of ruined that. So ZigZag has a doctor named Mo, and Mo's a family doctor, but he's been located to a warehouse across town, which is like really red flag kind of vibes. So Sid is having this tough decision of, do I want to try Thrice Down, who is probably not a good option, thank you, Ruby, or do we want to go on a mission to see what Mo's up to across town? So at the end, she decides to just try Thrice Down because he's here, and we can see if Ruby can smooth anything out. ZigZag is actually the one that fixes. It's just ZigZag fixes things with Quadara, but Quadara doesn't allow Ruby inside, and it's okay, Quadara. I totally understand that. So Quadara takes a look at Sid's head. She's like, I can fix this, but we actually find out that this wasn't a malfunction. Somebody actually did this to Sid on purpose. So, it's gonna take a long time to fix. So Quadara's like, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And at the end, even though Sid is like really crushing hardcore on Quadara and just wants to spend 3 weeks, they kind of sort of don't have that time. So she's like, all right, fine. Let's just do it the hard way. And they have some parts to get. So Ruby was actually one of the people that tried to convince Sid there's no time to waste. And we find out eventually with a message from Bit that he has some of the Benito family members that survived the explosion hostage, which is probably why Mo is in a warehouse across town. Not a traitor, not anything going on, probably held hostage. So Probably, I don't know. Maybe Mo's just living his best life somewhere else. I don't know. Stay tuned. Gizmo comes up with this idea that the Novas and the Benitos have to work together to take down the High Riders because at the end of the day, the High Riders suck. So ZigZag wants to run it by Ma before going further, and Ruby decides to meet Calypso somewhere and is pretty much dragging everybody along. So they decide Calypso is pissed because they were attacked by the Whisperer and they leave to exact their revenge. So fingers crossed, hopefully they'll make it out okay. And ZigZag is going to talk to Ma about a possible alliance with the Novas. Ma's like, all right, let's do it. Bit messages Raven to meet at this abandoned biscuit shop. And that's where we left off. Ma, Bug, all of us are going to meet with Bit. So let's see how this
Oh,
works. Are the Bonitos and the Novas gonna work things out? I don't know. Is Mo really? I don't. Where's Mo? What's Mo up to? I don't know.
Mo's on a beach somewhere
Yeah,
with a
Mo's just like
Mai
actually
Tai. Yeah.
not across town. That's where his tracker is. He's just
Yeah.
living it up somewhere else. Yeah. So who knows? I don't know. Guess you'll have to watch the next episode. So yeah. Thank you so much, Erin, for coming on to talk about ZigZag. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening. Make sure to like and subscribe, always helps us out. And thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.